Okay, we are live.
Wisdom and direct our steps. Today, we are grateful for the efforts of the floor staff, the Capitol Police, the stenographers, the pages, and all those who have worked through the night. We pray you give them the strength they need for this day. Today, give our senators the assurance of your presence. Inspire them with a calm faith, a steady peace, and a firm resolve to do your will. Let no weapon formed against them prosper. We pray in your omnipotent name. Amen.
We have a lot of people watching us live.
Continue.
Thank you, everybody who's watching with us
Senator
around the
from New Jersey
world.
is
We
recognized.
welcome you.
Thank
We're
you.
here to watch and react together.
I'm going to continue until one of my colleagues asks me a question.
Senator, you for a question?
One of my heroes in the Senate, a living legend, my partner on some bills that I'm so passionate about expanding IVF, someone that is just freaking awesome. I yield for a question while retaining the floor.
Thank you, Senator Booker, for taking this important stand and for doing so much to make it clear how much pain Donald Trump and Elon Musk are inflicting on the American people in every sector of our society. I'm going to be asking you a question about what you've heard from agricultural businesses in your state about the damage that this administration is doing and the jobs that either have been or will be lost as a result. But I thought I would give you some background on what I'm hearing as well. I want to focus this body's attention on our nation's farmers and ranchers who seem to be getting punched day after day, week after week by the Trump-Musk oligarchy. Whether it's their harmful tariffs that hurt our soy and corn farmers, canceling and freezing more than $1 billion in funding for schools and food banks to purchase food from local farmers, or halting reimbursement and contract payments that our farmers are already owed. The senator from New Jersey and I are both working together to undo some of the most harmful impacts of these disastrous decisions, including joining forces on
interesting
to
little
push his
details
Honor Farmer
where
Contracts
if we take
Act
the
forward.
floor,
We're also starting to hear reports from farmers about just how damaging the Musk-Trump dismantling of USAID is. Jobs and businesses right here.
This person asked a question
in America. For example, I don't know if the
holding the
senator
floor
has
can
heard,
go
but
take a break.
in North Carolina, they had
And she'll
$2.2
continue
billion
to talk
in USAID awards,
about this and
including
hopefully
for
start slowing
27
down
large-scale
because there's
farmers
no
who are
rush
fulfilling
to
orders for
get through
humanitarian food
these
assistance, and
documents right
4
now.
universities who were receiving agricultural research
This is
funding.
kind of a
More than
it's the game.
300 North
We're in
Carolina
the game.
workers
This
have
is a
lost their jobs as a
full-on game.
result
So
of this
you know you
freeze.
can enjoy it
In
more.
Georgia,
If
they
you're
had over
just signing in, you
$389
don't know
million
what's going
in
on. If you're
USAID
new to
awards,
politics or new to
including
government,
9 large-scale farmers
then
fulfilling
know that
orders
this
for
is one of
humanitarian food
those
assistance.
these rules
6 universities receiving
that
agricultural
makes
research
me. I
funding.
just get so excited about these
Arkansas
kind of things.
had over
As a kid, I was in
$210
Model
million
United
in
Nations.
USAID awards, including
As a grown up, I still stay focused. I mean, it was always important around the dinner table and around the dinner table what was happening today in the world. So, you know, a lot of people like to tune out of this stuff. I'm one of the nerds that like to stay involved. Now, AP is we're covering the AP feed, and AP is on the back heels trying to survive. But we need Associated Press. We need a press. We need a very strong press within the 4 pillars of our democracy. So we got press. We have the judiciary, the judge, and Senate, and Congress. And now y'all know, right? Like everybody is on the same level. We have people who are inside the government who are trying to dismantle our government and our way of thinking, and they're just doing it recklessly, and they really haven't done their homework either. So that's interesting to watch how people with little or no experience just think they can come in and just take the whole thing down with a few heinous things. And it might have almost worked. Except, you know, thank goodness Cory Booker is a very astute politician and down and literally, you know, I'm from New Jersey, and so Cory Booker has my attention. And I used to walk through Newark to go to Prudential Insurance Company with my dad to his work, and we would watch and look at the devastation by the riot of the '67 and '68 riots. And you know, they let that stay pretty much an eyesore for that entire couple of decades, just so they could go back and say, oh, you know, those people just don't care about their neighborhoods anyway. Otherwise, they would have fixed it up, you know. But there was no money for that because it was all redlining, and there's a lot of, you know, restrictions on lending and so forth. And no one really thought. I mean, downtown Newark was left to the wolves, you know. But since Cory came back, it's been just a new day in Newark, and it's now a city to be proud of. My mom was raised in Newark, New Jersey, and talks about how great it was, and then it got to be really bad, and then it got to be really good again. So here we are in the ebb and flow of society. But what we're going on now is like the floor fights. This is good. This could go on for a while. So Renee, what do you think? What's going on in your head? What's going on here?
Right. So again, just to set the stage, we do have a lot of people joining us from around the world who are watching with us. We are very grateful that you are here. Everybody who is watching, basically, if you're not American, or even if you are American and you've forgotten some of your government rudimentary logic and the analytics of it, what Allison Charles was just saying is true. So this is a filibuster. This is an American rule, and this is in the Senate. And this is something that a senator can do where he continues to talk. He can yield to a question. That's why his friends, his colleagues are helping him out with these questions. Some of them are long-winded, intentionally to give this man a break. He's been going since last night, and he intends to go, quote unquote, as long as he is physically able. And so that's Cory Booker right now. He's a senator from New Jersey, as Mr. Charles just stated. And he's traditionally in the past, a filibuster could be done to disrupt certain Senate processes. In this case, it's done to talk about what is going on with the Trump administration, the tariffs, immigration, Social Security, Department of Education. There's a lot of things going on right now in this country. And Senator Booker said, we are not going to normalize what is going on. This is an abnormal administration, and we are going to call attention to it.
Well, here's the thing, too. This is abnormal. We know this is true. But if I'm not mistaken, this is to do with the House bill that's going through that was just passed by the House because they have a majority. And this House bill cuts basic social services and sets up a tax break for billionaires. I'm not quite sure if they need more money. I don't even know what this is about, but that's.
Yes, $400,000 a year salary and above would be the tax break.
So if you were making that kind of, you start to really keep some of that money.
Right.
But this is the thing. So we can't let this thing get through the House. Now, what else is happening is that there's an election happening today and tomorrow. And this could change a few of the seats in the House that quickly. So if we can extend this out for the next few days through the election and bring the firestorm at the election time, this is perfectly timed for this type of thing, right? So we're going to be having a filibuster stopping some bad legislation getting to be voted on by a Senate that is also in majority. You see, they're really trying to get through some nefarious bills here, I guess. And I hope there would be somebody with more knowledge than we had that could actually explain it. You know, I don't know. Does anybody know somebody who knows about this kind of thing? Renee? Anybody we can call to straighten us out?
Well, there's a lot of people, anyone watching, if anyone wants to comment what they're going through right now, you can do that as well. I was just looking up the rules of the filibuster and cloture, which is how you how you stop a filibuster, and it's changed over the years. Other senators can actually come forward and stop a filibuster. But other than that, there's actually very few rules. So that's what I was doing right now, is just to sort of look that up.
Well, okay,
And
but okay, there was a famous movie by Jimmy Stewart called Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
yes.
Okay, so in that one, he does this huge dramatic thing about filibustering a bill, just like this. I mean, if you want to find out like a bill and how it's going through, and then there's one man who goes up against it, and then what he, and his portrayal was agonizing. So I'm never going to be excited. This is like watching a siege happen. It's slow and methodical, but ends up being Cory Booker is going to be suffering in front of a lot of people. And are we going to get, so is this going to be the thing? Is this going to be the thing that changes people's minds? Or, was it the $2 million checks that Elon Musk gave to some folks in Wisconsin? Bizarre. The times we live in are so bizarre. That we've gotten to this place is so bizarre because, well, what I was getting at is that I was one of those geeks. I think I was one of those geeks. I feel like I'm a geek now, thinking about like how government works. Now the question is going to be, well, let's go back to the floor and see what he has to say. Let's pull Cory up.
Contract freezes. This is one of the ways Trump and Musk are causing havoc. Program cuts. They've eliminated programs, as you said, that support local and promote regenerative practices. It's stunning. USDA destabilization. Trump and Musk have laid off USDA employees, closed USDA offices, hindering the agency's ability to provide essential services to farmers. Tariff policies. Trump's tariff policies implemented without consultation with or support from farmers will increase farmer costs and consumer food prices. And finally, general chaos, which seems to be something, as you're pointing out, that they're very good at. Farmers already deal with so much uncertainty from prices, weather, pests, and more. They should not have to deal with uncertainty from Donald Trump's administration that will undermine everything that they do.
A question for the senator from New Jersey.
I will yield for a question while retaining the floor.
I would like to ask the senator from New Jersey a question pertaining to the Farm Bill. You speak to uncertainty. One of the things that I've heard from my agricultural sector and my farmers, Farm Bureau in Illinois, is the desperate need to pass, for this body to pass a Farm Bill, especially when it comes to crop insurance, the crop insurance program, as well as, again, retaining SNAP benefits. I do think that crop insurance is something that our farmers care deeply about. It is a tool that they use to make sure that they are able to survive when there are bad crop years, whether that is through disease, whether that is through drought or floods. Our farmers certainly, this is a program for them to sustain themselves and be able to look out for themselves. So it is a personal responsibility on the part of farmers. It is especially important for young farmers who are just starting out. Those margins are so tiny. And when you take away the commodity program and the USAID, when you take away SNAP program, and then you don't provide them with crop insurance, you're going to lose those family farms. And what's going to happen? Large agribusinesses are going to take over, and they don't have the well-being of the American people at their heart. And so, I would love to hear from the senator from New Jersey. Would you agree that what we should be doing right now is not attacking farmers and cutting commodity programs and cutting and freezing funding for USAID, that it provides a market for farm products, but instead we should be working on passing a farm bill?
Yeah, I love you for bringing these things to point, because by the way, with Adam Zipkin, we did a farm tour and we were in Southern Illinois meeting with Republican farmers. This is now before the pandemic.
I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to backfire.
We have so much common cause as they're trying desperately.
Because now, he's starting to get to the adult stage of sleep deprivation, and sleep deprivation is just, it's something that, we take lightly, but it's not something to be taken lightly.
The farmers want that help them be better stewards of the land.
Sleep deprivation, driving, sleep deprivation, in all kind of cases, it leads to
They want those
erratic
things,
behavior
preserve
and
this soil,
thinking. There's
reduce
going to
the
be
chemical.
some
They
things.
want
It's
those
going to be a
things
lot of
that
sound bites
works for
being
them, and
pulled
we
from
should be
this of him
delivering that
being
to
acting like a
biodiversity.
lunatic.
So you are right on point.
And because he's
Here,
so genuine and
not
he's
involved
such, obviously, a polymath just like us, polyamorous about everything. He wants everybody to win, and he wants everybody to, do it. And he's an embodiment of that type of living. And this is why he's elected to be senator of New Jersey. Okay. The guy's really that good, but it's probably not going to play well, or maybe it will start to resonate with some people. I mean, I don't, from my perspective, and we've been talking, well, Renee and I have been talking throughout this entire year, watching this thing unfold. My feeling was that we were completely lied to, and I think it's being corroborated by Vigilantes Inc. and Craig Palast and a lot of these. When the research is done, you realize that this last election was stolen right in front of us too, as were the Hillary election and the Gore election. So we're used to being beat up and lied to, and it's just a normal thing for us. Isn't that weird? I mean, we really have to talk our way out of just getting beat up again, because we really like doing that. It just seems to be the thing that we do. I'm not quite sure why. So we're exploring this as we go. Now we're going to reinvent government. Look, the way it needs to be couched is that we had all these things in place. We had spent, the last 50 years organizing a pretty fair and equitable government that took care of most of the people, and we were moving in that direction very slowly. But Hillary would have been interesting to see how we would have organized ourselves as a group, as a singularity, as the all, because she was on that path too. Obama was there as well. There's plenty here for everyone. Now we gotta, rein in the millionaires, billionaires without pissing them off, because they're a big dollar donor. And then once the court did the Citizens United, I mean, we saw that. I mean, the only people that I was listening to about this was Democracy Now! And KPFK. So that's where I get my information. I just assumed you all did too. That's why you're listening to me. And then Renee somehow. I just assume that we're all somehow connected through, free speech radio, and are interested to, why this is happening. Let's go back on the floor and see what's going on.
Job as part of the Great Recession, right? She had an ongoing chronic stomach condition. So as she got laid off, her health insurance went away too, and she couldn't afford the COBRA fee to keep her health insurance. So she couldn't get health care. So she got sicker and sicker, so she couldn't go to work. But because she was a single adult, she couldn't get Medicaid coverage. So here's somebody who has been working, wants to work, has a chronic illness, can't get to work. We passed Medicaid expansion. She got coverage, she got treatment, and she got back to work. The other great benefit of Medicaid expansion covering people with addiction in New Hampshire has been that as people have gotten better, as more and more physicians have learned to integrate addiction care into primary care, we have a lot more people in recovery. And like
So this is a good
many
thing.
of our states, we also have a
We get to,
workforce shortage. What's
maybe
been happening now? New Hampshire
review
is a
the things
leader
that,
in
and
recovery
this is what's
workplaces.
the way I
so
like to
that
see it
people who
brought
got
up, is that this
Medicaid
person
expansion
is
coverage,
showing that,
got their addiction treated, got better, can
whatever we spend on addiction treatment is going to come back to us 5 to 1. I mean, $1 spent
what we are hearing about now
helping a child get some food is $4 of return of investment with a smarter kid. This is that four. Remember we talked about triple bottom line. If anybody's familiar with triple bottom line, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Timestamp, triple bottom line, pop. I just need that. I need some algorithm. I need to get up into some numbers here. But the triple bottom line is such that if we do the thing in such a way, we spend the money to make clean water available for everyone. Everyone benefits from clean water. So we're not going to be taking care of people in the hospital because they're not going to be getting sick because we have clean water. Clean water is an essential piece of it. The byproduct of clean water is good food, clean water. It brings us all to, this is the things we really need to focus on. And whatever it costs, I mean, before we design a new Tesla, we should have a new water system to make sure everybody gets clean water. He has gone into, housing. I mean, there's a $30,000 Tesla house if you want to buy it. I might do it because $30,000 is what I need if it's really cool. And, I don't know. But I think I can do better with other products. There's lots of materials out there to build with. And what we're going to find out is what the best thing to use to build back in a hurricane, what I can do, what's the least amount. We're going to play the game. So we need a housing, water, food, energy, and job. And the job is to rebuild what happened in the last, catastrophe. So go back on the floor. Let's find out what they're talking about there. And Farm Bill, heck yeah, you need food. Oh, there he is. Come on in.
New Jersey, it's
See?
one of my favorite new states. No disrespect to New Mexico over here on my right. But I love your state. I love the people of your state, and they
love.
you.
Okay.
You are
Of
an
course,
extraordinary governor. You are a trailblazer, a glass
love
ceiling breaker, a name
and
taker. You
forgiveness,
are
right,
a
Renee?
badass. And to have served with you
Yeah,
as my
Cory
colleague,
is very much
you
always
kind
trying to
have
work
the kind of
across
leadership
the
in the Senate
aisle.
that is
He's very
needed
much,
more of.
like
Somebody
you
that
said, a
stands in the
polyamorous
middle,
person. He
draws
loves
people
and
together with
respects
common
everyone.
sense and pragmatism.
He earlier was trying to reach out
I
to the
started on healthcare.
Republicans with his colleague, Senator Amy Klobuchar, who also
16
works
so
across
hours
the
ago.
aisle. He's somebody who does
And
not want to be
I
divisive.
read
He's
you would be
somebody who
proud of me
wants
because
to
she's one
speak
of these
common
voices that comes
sense
to me and says, hey,
into
Cory,
every American.
let's bring people together.
Well,
I
you
know
think
that
so, or
my
is it just
officer
because it's the
is new
way?
here, but
He's
he has the same
basically
spirit of trying
following
to
this
bring
thing we
people
call the
together.
way. It's the
Right,
timeless
the way.
way.
The
It's
third
the
time I've seen
Tao.
the
The
chair
Tao
today.
is the way. The
Oh,
way.
last hour.
Okay. He's tapping it. I mean, I guess that maybe would. I don't know. Should he bring up philosophy? Is that important? I don't know.
Well,
But
he was reading poetry earlier, so I do think it's important. I think that all of it's
okay,
connected.
so
Yeah.
all of our, my limited amount of history and American literature is focused in, primarily, I don't need a lot of information once I have a feeling of a right thing. My board of directors is like that. I mean, that the happiest place on earth is such because it was designed that way, right? Like if it's Disneyland, it's got to be designed. I mean, everything about it is perfect. So no matter what color you are, Mickey Mouse appeals to you, right? I mean, isn't that what we're trying to do?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but that includes having something to eat, something to drink, and a place to go to the bathroom, and that's the other thing. So that might be the business we all have to do every single day. I mean, everyone's involved with that other thing, eliminating stuff we used, but there's no such thing as a way, so we have to use that as part of the whole system, you see? So that's where the waste comes in. I mean, if you're eating something, then you're not pooping, then you're not healthy. So you need to eat and poo, and then the poo needs to go back into food, but it's just the way it does it, and it does it anyway. I mean, that's called whole systems design and thinking. So, when the dust settles, we're going to be back to the whole system. And so let's go back to the floor and see what he says now.
Care section, because I read from Republican governors and Democratic governors. 40 states expanded Medicaid, and all of these governors, all of these voices said exactly what you're intimating here is do not let Donald Trump cut $880 billion out of Medicaid. It will crush rural hospitals. It'll crush level 1 trauma care centers. It'll crush organizations that deal with beautiful disabled children. It'll crush people who are struggling for health care. It'll crush nursing homes. It'll hurt red counties and blue counties. It will hurt America.
But that's what people
Republican
do. On the
voices
right,
were saying that.
reptilian,
To have a
obviously,
bipartisan
person
senator
who
who
has
embodies
no
the
empathy.
spirit this place should
And Trump
ascribe
has
to
no
more,
empathy,
to
whatever.
say these things is
He can't
affirming the
empathize with a
truth.
person
Why?
who doesn't cheat. So if you don't cheat and you play by the rules, you're going to be, on the wrong side of Donald Trump, man. Come on. So here we are. I mean, I don't know. The thing that I learned from listening to KPFK all these years And I don't know if it resonates with anybody else, but I sure would like to get a like or a share or an up thumb or help me out with this thing. Besides, just talking, I love you, Renee. We talk a lot. But if this is resonating with anybody else, you say there's a lot of people coming in here. But the point is that we have to, if we could solve a problem by identifying a problem, that would be great. But we have to identify the problem, then we have to reduce and reuse. So like we do in basic division, long division, we have to reduce to the simple common denominator. Any big problem that comes your way has to be reduced down to its simplest, easiest thing, because you need to get to a binary decision of yes or no. Do I go this way or that? Do I go left or right? Going to the light is a good indicator. If there's a light at this side of it, you might want to go that more often. That tends to be something that follows us, and we follow the universal sign. They're showing you the sign of the light. If you go that way and you can understand how to get there quicker, then you don't have to spend any time in the darkness if you can. Maybe that's where you want to be. Maybe sometimes you want to be in dark times, but it's not very comfortable. Let's go back on the floor and see what he's got going.
Before we do that, I just wanted to say what you talked about with empathy.
Sure.
Elon Musk has been talking a lot about how empathy is a detrimental drawback. And I do have a quote here from him. This was on February 28th. Elon Musk said, "The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy, the empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response. Empathy has been weaponized." So according to Elon Musk, even recently, empathy is the fundamental weakness of Western civilization.
Well, that's basic double speak. Okay, when a person says that, they really mean the other thing.
You think so?
Well, of course, that's what double speak is. So he's like, empathy is a thing that we got to fight, but that's so, does anybody else think that's not ridiculous? So that's where you set up. Okay, it really becomes so easy to identify left or right, or, it's this reptilian cold blood that is a non-empathetic type of situation. It's a cold blood.
Right,
That's what it
right.
is. Okay, that's how it's a reptile, a reptilian. It's not Republican. Republican was coming from a way empathetic point of view. The Republican Party is based on freeing slaves. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
It was glorified for its far thinking of inclusion, equity, and inclusion. Right. I
Yes.
mean, give us your huddled masses and we will put them to work, man. We have a whole thing. See, this is what they don't get. They're short-sighted. Short-term money is always so short-sighted. We were involved with a long-term, long plan. It's involved a long plan that says that there's plenty for everyone. But primarily, we need folks from those places that know how to work together in a communal way. Latin folks are the best at coming together and being a village in the middle of a strawberry field. That's how they can do this kind of heavy, hard work, because they get along with each other so well. They'd rather just be hanging out. And when they pool all their resources together, they got a lot of money. Like, they don't go to work like we go to work. I've been trained to go to work for you and me and our little paycheck, and we're going to give $1 to Social Security and we're going to pay our taxes and complain about it. They do that too, but they also get along because they come together as a family, and they just say, we're going to hurt our backs, but we're going to take this money, we're going to help buy some things that we need for the people down home or something. I mean, there's always some kind of altruistic, there's usually an altruistic connection to a person who comes to pick strawberries in Oxnard. If you follow the storyline, it will be to help somebody. I promise you. They're not doing it just for fun. But like, we need to get our surfer buddies out there and start picking strawberries too, and see what they do, and how, maybe it's cool to be taking your skateboard to work in the fucking, in the avocado orchards. Okay.
Do you see Do you see the comment from Trilby Post?
I see Trilby. Hi, I'm disabled, work part-time at 5 special. Let me see. I have 5 specialists. Well, that's the thing now.
That she won't be seeing now, including a cardiologist, because she just lost her partial Sunshine Medicaid
Well,
today. I'm so
well,
sorry,
somebody,
Trilby. I'm so
okay,
sorry.
remember this, first of all. It's not your fault, and it's not our fault. We didn't do this. We have been lied to and robbed again, and we're still lied to and robbed because we refuse to really look at it. I mean, what if the filibuster was also talking about voter suppression? What if the filibuster is also talking about, losing these votes, being challenged? The whole being able to challenge a vote in all these swing states is all, based on early designs by KKK to turn this thing around for the last 50, 60 years since I've been alive. There's been a group of people trying to switch us back to some type of form of slavery where 1 or 2 people get to have all the power and everybody who's black, brown, or have hazel eyes or something, is queer, gay, up and down. Oh, I don't know. I mean, we had it almost right, I think, Trilby. Everyone had, some, I don't know, ACA seemed to be working fine. I mean, I had a situation. I needed some help with the medical institutions, and ACA was there to help me out and take me through the rough time. So, well, this person is up against it, so we need to be up against them. So let's go ahead and stay back on the floor. See what's going back on the floor of the Senate. What is she talking about?
Cuts. So, Senator Booker, can you speak to the ways in which seniors across the country count on Social Security benefits that they have paid into?
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a non-starter. In fact, those guys need to be adding to the Social Security pool in order to give more back. If those 1%ers gave just a small amount of money, they can have both. Okay, we can have better health care and everything. This is not an either-or proposition. Do you get that?
Earlier or last night, I
don't know why it's being couched as an either-or, like it's this way or that.
Not just what you said, my
It's
colleague,
both,
my friend,
all at the same time.
but stories
This is the
from
law of
seniors.
correspondence. This is the law of correspondence.
And some of them really got to me.
Everything is
They were
happening
hard
at
to
the
read
same
through. I have to
time.
say, I had prepped
But we're
this by
looking for
reading a lot.
equilibrium, and we're looking for, plenty. We want to change your mind from scarcity to plenty. Everything you need is right where you are. You don't need to run. No need to fight or flight. Don't need to react. Don't react.
And Social Security, it helps a lot of folks, but here's the craziness of the Trump attacks
like
on the Social Security Administration.
This needs to be followed up by
First,
another effort
he
just like it.
makes people insecure
Hold
about
the floor.
My mom
Keep
lives in this
talking.
amazing
Let's
senior
show
home,
this
Las
to AP now.
Ventanas.
How many people are on the AP feed? Renee?
AP feed has, I think, thousands. Hold on, I have to.
Don't they have millions?
Well, it depends, because Cory Booker also has a feed on his. There's multiple different feeds. Let me
Well, let's
stop
try
this.
Cory Booker. See what the feeds are and see how many people are watching this. And then show me my stats. Dude, let's go ahead and show the stats that you're showing me. Like, I have a lot of people on who.
Okay, there's 34,000 watching now on AP YouTube.
Wow. Nice.
So, and then majority of our viewers right now, we're on TikTok. TikTok feed got lost for, they don't like when you show what's somebody else's content. But X is still going strong, and we have about 80 people still with us on X.
Who's on X? 80 people on X?
Right now, yeah, right now.
Well, if you're on X, I want to give me a thumbs up. Like, tell me that you hate me.
I don't know how they communicate on X to a live feed, but we're going to learn because we got a lot of people here. But yeah, so
X
AP
people,
is 34,000.
I'm not quite sure. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're watching this. This is real democracy, but there's plenty for everyone. Okay, man, this is crazy. I don't understand how anybody can think that having these people with this kind of money telling us what to do with our money and taking our money and your money and messing with it and doing this kind of thing. This is crazy stuff. This is brand new This is a brand new terror. Everyone is deathly afraid of what's going on, and they don't want to say anything because they might get in trouble. What the hell is going on here? Let's go back to the floor and see what he's got. Let's go for like 10 seconds, and then we'll back and forth. So TikTok might.
They've already done benefit cuts, because when you close offices in rural areas, that person who is missing a check or has an issue, now they have to drive how many miles? 100 miles. Now, what is that hardship to a senior? I got heard from people in their 90s. They already are having benefit cuts. The Wall Street Journal, anyway, I told you, I was trying to make you proud. I wanted to get as many.
So this was all predicted. This was all going to happen. You knew that these people, when did you think that Trump was going to work for you? Never going to happen.
They're already doing cuts.
It's a good thing to know that this guy's willing to fight for us. Now, we're here on One WholEarth, and this is the last week on One WholEarth, and we're moving headlong into a solar catastrophe. We're also moving headlong into a pole shift. Now, to answer the question, remember the last couple of weeks we did a thing on the Dymaxion map? Remember that, Renee?
Yes, absolutely. Let me pull it up here so we can look at it together.
And remember I was saying, like, look, you know, it's kind of gone over here and it's still going. Now it's back to the actual top of the earth, right? But he explained it yesterday in another podcast, that you see how it's speeding up. So it literally is going to go over the top of the North Pole and then start diving down into the area of towards India, evidently. It's going to start moving, and it's going in more of a straight line trajectory. And you can't deny that the length and the movement and the kind of the straight line movement is really undeniable. The question I want to know is what's happening in the south at the same time. But you see, these things are moving on a daily basis too. There's not one fixed place, right? It's constantly drifting around, but there's a push. And his last, if we go back to suspiciousobserver.com and we look at his last entry, then we can see he clears it up pretty carefully, you know, and talking about how these things are clustering around and moving quickly. And then there's a few elements, like we can run experiments in the laboratory to discuss the same type of flipping technique that's going on here. So, or what's going to happen. And he's saying now, like somewhere between 2030, 2035, 2040, but you know, we can't tell. It could happen very quickly. As these things start to speed up, they tend to, you know, go quick. What he's predicting is that we're actually going to switch around and we're going to slosh. All the continents are going to slosh on top of the liquid mantle underneath. And we're going to end up basically North and South Pole are going to be in, I don't know, he's got a good diagram. I think it's going to switch down and it's going to end up being North Pole is going to be in Siberia. And I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I can't remember. But with the Dymaxion map, we'll be able to track it, and we're going to continue to track it here on Spaceship Earth. So keep tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and catch in. So what's going on is like we're going through the motions in the Senate to slow things the heck down. Now, Cory Booker is in good shape, and I know he plays some basketball on a regular basis. And I think he does some jogging and some stuff. I know that he's also a vegan, and so that's going to go for him. He doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink. He's a vegan and vegetarian anyway, and so he could go a lot longer than Mr. Smith, you know, did in that movie. But it's still going to be the same tragic ending. I mean, there's people crying. There were people begging him to stop, please. It's just too painful to watch. So I don't know if that conclusion is going to be helpful to our cause, but it's going to put him in some type of leadership position. We like Cory Booker. We'd like to see him as, you know, switching from, as much as we love Joaquin Jeffries, his eloquence is such that he's not really translating the information properly. You see how Jasmine Crockett has come over and really brought a voice. She knows how to talk to the people, to the regular folks, to the black folks and the young black women and the black and white women, all kind of women. I think you like Jazz, but she's getting a little bit one. They're going to be one one button. AOC has been on her run. I was going to ask where, you know, Bernie Sanders is, but I would not be surprised if Bernie Sanders came in and wanted to ask a question. I would not be surprised, but can he do that? Is he in Congress? Are these guys senators? Only senators can ask other senators questions. Okay, so that's the other thing. So he's in the Senate, so no, Congress can't do that. So that's where we have a separation of powers, remember? They did that on the floor of the Congress, but you can't filibuster on the floor of the Congress because you can't hold the floor. You have to ask permission and you ask for time. You're granted permission, you're granted time. Isn't that weird? These are really interesting things as it moves forward, as we talk about the ship and the captain and the bar and the way of government. But the folks that designed this thing had a feeling they knew what they were doing. We got to find out as we're coming up. So keep coming back, and we will see you next time on One Whole Earth.